Okay guys, we are now on our last objective, objective 3, which is integers in the real world. You should have this little worksheet with 3 problems on it, and we are going to just kind of go over each problem together. Just so you have some examples and how to work it as you begin to do your check for understanding and practice on your Google Slides. So integers you will use for the rest of your life. Negative and positive numbers are used in bank accounts, taxes, anything that involves money. We can just name numerous things, scores and grades and all kinds of things. So I'm kind of going to give you a couple of examples so you can get started. So let's begin. Alright, so the first question says, and we're going to use rubies just so if y'all forget, because rubies is the way to go. Alright, so we're going to start with R being read the problem, so let's do that. Levi burns 22 calories for every minute he runs on the treadmill. Levi ran for 8 minutes on Monday, 12 minutes on Tuesday, and 7 minutes on Wednesday. Which integer represents the total amount of calories he burned during his workout? Alright, the U is underline the question, So, the question says, which integer represents the total amount of calories he burned during his workout? So there's your question. How many calories did he burn during his workout? Now we're going to use B, which is box our keywords and numbers. So, well, a keyword and number is that Levi burns 22 calories for every minute that he runs, okay? And Levi ran 8 minutes on Monday, 12 minutes on Tuesday, and 7 minutes on Wednesday. So first thing we need to do is we know that for every minute he gets 22 calories. So we need to take 22 and multiply it to all of our minutes, okay? There's several ways you can do this. You can get all your minutes together, 8, 12, and 7. And then multiply it by 22, which will just give you a bigger number that you'll be multiplying by, or you can multiply by each one. Now, I prefer to add up the minutes first and then multiply, which that's what we're going to do. So we have 12 plus 8 plus 7. Okay, so we have 8 and 2, which is 10, plus 7 is 17. We raise 1, which 1 plus 1 is 2. So he ran 22 minutes on total for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So now we're going to take our 22 minutes, because it's not asking us how many minutes he ran. It's asking us how many calories he burned. So we're going to take 27, and we're going to multiply it to 22. So we have 7 times 2, which is 14. We bring our 1 up. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. We can put a 0 here and start over this way. 7 times 2 is 14. Bring up our 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And then we add. We have 4 plus 0 is 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. And 5 plus 0 is 5. So he burned a total of 594 calories in those 3 days. Alright, so there's your first answer. Let's move down to the next one. So we're going to start with reading the problem. On September 1st, Claudia had a balance of $125 in her bank account. During September, she made the 4 transactions below. She deposited $35. She bought groceries at Walmart for $45 with her bank card. She wrote a check for bowling for $40. And she paid her monthly bank fee for $12. If there were no other transactions, what would be her balance? What would be the balance in Claudia's bank account? Alright, so let's go to U, which is underline the question, which is what would be the balance? And then we're going to go to boxing keywords. So we need to know the beginning balance, which was $125. And then we need to know what each thing did. So we, of course, are going to start with $125. Okay. So I have $125, and then we deposited. Deposited means that you put money into the bank, so I feel that would be a plus. So we're going to add that. Okay, and then she bought groceries Okay, so let's do this first. Let's do 125 and 35. Okay, which would be 5 and 5 is 10. And 3 and 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. And then 1. So now we have $160. And then she bought groceries. So if she bought groceries, I feel like that's going to be a minus. So we're going to subtract $45. Okay, and we're going to borrow from our 6, which gives us 10, and that's 5 and 1 and 1. Well, now we have 115, so we've done this one and this one. And she wrote a check for bowling. Well, if you write a check, that's taking money out of your bank. If someone writes you a check and you deposit it, then that's putting money in your bank. But in this case, she wrote a check for something. So that, again, is going to be negative or minus. So we're going to subtract $40, which is 5. We have to borrow, which gives us 11. And then 11 minus 4 is 7, which now leaves us, $75. So we can check that one off. Now let's go to our next one, where she paid her monthly bank fee of $12. So if she paid something, that's going to be minus. So we're going to subtract again, and we're going to subtract $12. And 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 1 is 6. And it looks like we've taken care of everything. So her balance in her bank account would be $63. Perfect. There we go. Alright, so let's move on to the last question. So we have a well is at a depth of 150 feet below sea level. It makes the following moves. First, it goes down 55 feet. Next, it goes up 75 feet. Then it goes down 85 feet. And finally, it goes down 125 feet. Write the equation for the well's movement and solve. Okay, so we are going to write the equation first, and then we'll solve the equation. Guys, an equation is just an expression of numbers with an equal sign in it, okay? So let's begin with what's important. Okay, well, a well had a depth of 150. That's important because we need to know where we started. And then it went down. Well, to me, down would be negative, so negative 55 feet. And then it went up. To me, up would be positive 75 feet. And then down would be negative, that's 85 feet. And then down again would be negative, that's 125 feet. So to write an expression, expressions are always written like a sentence, okay? I'm sorry, an equation. Equation and expressions are always written like a sentence. So our first, where we began, was 150. And then we said it went down 55 feet, up 75 feet, down 85 feet, and down 125 feet. And we put an equal sign. That's an equation. Alright, so now let's solve the equation. So we have order of operations. You go from left to right, and in this case we're only adding and subtracting, so we just move left to right by subtracting and adding. So in this case we're doing 150 minus 55. Okay, so we're going to borrow to bring up 14. That's 5, and that's 9, so that's 95. Okay, and then 95 plus 75. I like to just keep rewriting it so I don't mess up on anything. So I have 95 plus 75, which is 10. That makes 10, which is 17. So now we're at 170 minus 85 minus 125. So 170 minus 85. Okay, we're going to borrow from our 1. That makes 16. 10 minus 5 is 5. 16 minus 8 is 8. So now again we're at 85 minus 125. Okay, so we are going to do minus 125, which is 10. You remember, guys, you need to remember that when you have opposite signs, we subtract, okay? So when we're subtracting and we take the bigger sign, so our answer is going to be a negative answer, okay? So we'll go over here, because we can't subtract the little number on the big number on the bottom. So we'll do it here. Okay, we're going to borrow, which gives us, oh, actually, that's it. It gives us 12. So 5 minus 5 is 0, and 12 minus 8 is 4. So our final debt is negative 40, below sea level. All right, perfect. That should take care of everything. There's a funny little video at the end once you have completed everything. So do your practice, do your check for understanding, and good luck on your common assessment. Have a great day.